This is ABC Radio Melbourne and Victoria with David Astle.
Sanitarium Health Food. The people who believe food should not only taste good, it should be good for you, invite you to watch Fun in the Kitchen.
Good morning, and thank you for joining me for a bit of fun in the kitchen. Well, continuing on from last week, I'm presenting to you another recipe from Sanitarium. It's called a nutty peanut sauce.
Oh no, we're in trouble again, putting ads on the ABC. We're going to be dragged over the coals and then have the coals heaped upon us. But let's move on. We shall be talking about some incredible moments of vintage TV. And by vintage, I mean when I was about 20 years old. This is some amazing stuff that David M. Green has put together. If you haven't come across his VHS Revue, you're in for a treat, because David and Matt have been conspiring in the last couple of hours, putting together some beguiling and bizarre little grabs from vintage TV, including from Family Feud, as well as, I think we've got a couple of other game shows. We've got some voiceovers. We've got some terribly sexist, inappropriate ads that we had to vet, really. One or two we can still play, but it's blush-worthy. And looking at an asbestos ad too, really, and that was only from 78. So perhaps that warrants a warning that you're going to come up with some tasteless TV coming in. But that's my question opportunity for you. Have you ever been on a game show? Because game shows will be central to our chat coming up. Have you ever had a crack being a contestant? Letters and numbers. The weakest link. Sale of the century. The chase. 1300 222 774 if you've got a story.
On the ABC Listen app, your smart speaker, and on AM radio.
This is ABC Radio Melbourne and Victoria with David Astle.
Just like Sarah Hall, the newsreader, I have seen David M. Green floating around the ABC labyrinth occasionally. He is a former writer of Mad as Hell. He's a comedian. He's the creator and star of a web series called VHS Revue. And if you love a little bit of flashback TV and a little bit of flashback sound, then David M. Green is your apothecary of choice. Welcome to the show, David.
David, good to be here.
We had Dave O'Neill. We've got David M. Green. This is turning into a...
It's David night.
What is a collective now? Is it? I don't know. Look, that's a different question for another night. But tell us the premise of the VHS Revue.
Well, I looked through videotapes, VHS videotapes, and some other formats as well that people have used to record TV shows or things on TV back in the day. And I go through the tape, which is usually maybe 3 or 4 hours, and I cut together the interesting stuff, which is usually in the commercial breaks, and then I put it together with some jokes and stick it on the internet.
And it's been going nuts. In fact, is it on TikTok? Your ad reviews have just been more and more sticky, as they say. It's been a lot of followers. You seem to have this, you're like an archaeologist of culture. Would that be a fair epithet?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's modern techno-archaeology.
I have to ask, did you ever come across any compromising material? Because we know that VHS tapes were used for lots of reasons.
Nothing extremely bad, but there were a lot of ads back in the 90s that I don't think you could air today. A lot of nudity in ads, remarkably. I don't think I've seen any topless women in TV commercials this century.
Thank God for that. But maybe block your eyes now, because we're going to play one or two inappropriate ads. This is not for reasons of nudity. This is basically for selling a message that we no longer believe. This is the very first one we've got here, David, because Matt Tribe, in cahoots with you, has been going through the latest drop from VHS Revue, and you're in for a real show bag of treats tonight. So what have we got here? This is from Hardy's, I understand, David.
Right. So, yeah, this is from 1978. So a friend in Brisbane, a guy named Reese Marshall, he found some very old tapes of a format called U-matic, which was mainly used by TV stations. But there was a guy there who had a very old player, and he recorded some TV broadcasts. So this is really, really old. It's 1978 from Brisbane. It's a product that you can't get anymore.
You can't get it. No matter how much you want to get it, you don't want it. And let's hear how much it's being sold to you.
See this? Hardy's Hardy Plank Wood Grain. The ideal and inexpensive way to extend your home. Hardy Plank Wood Grain is easy to work. Cuts easily with this score and snap knife. Hardy Plank is asbestos cement. It's really tough and non-combustible. Bill, over the road, chose Hardy's Montana for his extension. Good one, Bill. It's all here in these free brochures at Better Building Suppliers. Believe me, Hardy's gives the handyman the professional touch.
And we should note that that product was laced with asbestos, and in that ad, as the actor or the narrator is cutting away, there's dust everywhere, and it just it really makes your hair curl to look at it, let alone to hear it, David.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, my mouth just dropped to the floor when I saw that, just how it's so casually he's just cutting the thing and snapping it, and the dust is, you can see it in the video. It's crazy.
But I guess we're looking with, the hindsight goggles, and we're seeing things that we didn't realise back in 1978. But that applies a lot, I'd imagine.
Well, I think they did know it was
did they
dangerous.
know? 78?
They did, yeah.
Okay.
Well before that, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Fair point. Well, this is, but in terms of you looking back, whether it is about dangerous products or whether it's about taste, I mean, you've come across some pretty questionable things, whether it's in ads or shows, that must give you sort of pause to watch and relive.
Yeah, it's and even stuff from when I was a kid, in the 90s, 2000s. You don't think that's that long ago. I suppose it was like 25 years ago. But social attitudes. A lot of ads that would sort of make fun of a workplace bullying or something like that, or a sexist comment that it screams sexism now, that at the back in the 80s was kind of just a thing that was part of our day-to-day life, but it's unacceptable these days.
I was looking at an episode 2 of Family Feud, and the fashions as well, I've got to say, it was all about the shoulder pads. It was about the huge hair on both male and, men and women. Big hair era, the 80s.
Yeah, and Rob Broff, who hosted Family Feud back in the early 90s, he kind of had this very short on the sides but curly on top, which is actually very in right now. It's a Gen Z thing. They call it the broccoli cut. So he was well ahead of his time there.
Maybe they should call it the broccoli cut, in honour of... Well, look, we'll get to Family Feud in a little while, but this is talking about things that are on the wrong side of sexist now. Sexism, thankfully, has been called out and it's never fully expunged, but this is probably pretty flagrant. You want to set the scene for this one, David?
So this is an ad for a cleaning product, and it's the vision is a man's shirt, which is gradually sweating more and more and more as he gets berated by his boss, and the narrator offers the solution.
Here we go.
Jones, what type do you call this then? Jones, your sales figures are very disappointing. Jones, where are those reports I asked you for? Jones, I think we should talk about your future.
At the end of the day, Mr. Jones' shirt is showing all the signs that it needs preen, because just one spray of preen by Mrs. Jones before the wash will remove all traces of Mr. Jones' boss. Preen. It removes all traces of...
Good morning, Mr. Jones.
Every day.
My Lord, 2 strikes, or maybe 3 strikes. If you're looking at bullying, you're looking at Mrs. Jones being the launderer, and then you've got this mysterious female voice to say that there's this furtive femme fatale in the office culture. Everything wrong about it.
I don't even understand that bit at the end. Was he having an affair with someone? Is that? It's not really explained.
Yeah, the pictures. I guess it's all about the theatre of the imagination here on radio. But these are the ads. Now, this you said is 86. So I'd love to think that was 56. But God, 86 is not so long ago.
Before I was born. But yeah. Sorry.
I beg your pardon. I was a ripe old age of 25, and I didn't remember things being so reprehensible then. Listen here, young man. Time is 18 minutes past 9. You are with David Astle. It's the David Show, and David M. Green is my guest. And if you have not caught already, check out the web series. It's on YouTube. It's called VHS Revue. We are talking about the latest episodes. But if you're a fan of vintage TV, as questionable as sometimes the ads or the shows can be, you'll really enjoy the VHS Revue, because David has gone back like Indiana Jones, spelunking his way through the old tapes and finding some treasures, both the ads as much as the shows. And for that matter, before we turn to Family Feud, if you have been on a game show, I'd love to hear how you fared on 1300 222 774, 1300 222 774. Feel free to text in on 0437 774 774. This one is, hello, David. This one is, actually, my question for you is, have you been on a game show, David?
I hosted a game show on community TV. It was called 31 Questions. So that was a lot of fun. Did that for 3 years, about a decade ago. I've auditioned for a couple of real game shows, but I've never been on. Oh, and also when Talking About Your Generation was on Channel 9 about 5 years ago, I was a stand-in for Andy Lee during rehearsals. So they would have pretend contestants, and they would run through all the questions during rehearsal so they don't expose the questions to the real contestants. And then when that was finished, we went away and the famous people came in.
That's a brush with fame, really. I mean, to stand in for Andy Lee, that's quite a bragging rights.
The whole experience, I felt like when the Beatles toured Adelaide, when they came to Australia and they went to Adelaide, Ringo wasn't there. So they had a stand-in drummer named Jimmy Nichols. And then he was just there for like 2 shows, and then Ringo came, and Jimmy Nichols just went away into obscurity, and he said it was the worst experience that ever happened to him.
Well, your colleague and mate Stephen Hall, actually, who's done very well on game shows, also too a fantastic actor as seen in Mad as Hell, has been one of the donors of the VHS tapes too, David.
Yeah, I digitised a bunch of his tapes, a lot of them when he was on Sale of the Century in the 90s, and then Temptation in the 2000s. That was the kind of reboot of it. And he won the showcase. He was there for 5 nights, and he won like the grand prize and everything.
He cleaned up, did Stephen, and actually has written a book as well if you want to chase that down about how you can flourish in game shows. But right now we are celebrating vintage TV, and for better or worse, David M. Green is my guest. And would you believe it, the next voice we're about to hear actually has, here we go. Now, Matt Tribe, he's an alchemist of audio. He's managed to track down a little bit of 31 Questions, the show that you hosted on Channel 31. You're looking a little bit apprehensive there, David.
There might be some stuff that hasn't dated so well. I'm not sure.
Okay, so this might be your preen moment. Let's have a listen to the ad for 31 Questions.
It's the quiz show like no other.
Name one character other than Dame Edna Everage that Barry Humphries still performs on stage.
Wizard of Oz.
Join comedian David M. Green.
I'm David M. Green.
And have some fun with trivia.
You're not just David Green, right? You're David M. Green.
Hang on, I'll just need my cue cards for this.
31 Questions, Saturdays.
Fantastic. I reckon that holds up pretty well, David.
Yeah, Barry Humphries still performing. There's a very funny visual gag there at the end, which doesn't really translate. When I said I just need my cue cards, I hold up a card that has the letter Q on it.
How did I not see that coming? Of course it did. So that's 31 Questions, and you're even as famous as making the National Film and Sound Archive as well with 31 Questions.
Yeah, it's in the vault there. They did a little special website thing about game shows a few years ago, so they had lots of clips from game shows from right back from the 50s, the earliest shows on TV, and then they put 31 Questions in there as well, like as an example of a community TV game show.
9:22, David M. Green and David R. Astle will be back with more, including a voice, a very familiar voice who's linked to 3LO, who even got in touch very generously with this show last night, sending a little grab of 3LO's 50th anniversary. The mystery man will be revealed after this.
G'day Melbourne, Sammy J here, and it's our 100th birthday here at 774, but we're the ones giving out the presents. That's why every morning on breakfast this week, I'm giving away a pair of tickets to see Beauty and the Beast at Her Majesty's Theatre here in Melbourne. To win, just tune into breakfast from 5:30 and listen out for my Disney-based trivia.
Celebrating 100 years of your stories. Start your day with Sammy J.
Weekdays from 5:30.
Here on 774 ABC Radio Melbourne.
This is ABC Radio Melbourne and Victoria with David Astle.
Now, true story, David. David M. Green is my guest. David is the host and the chief archaeologist behind VHS Revue, which is essentially a web series there on YouTube. You can catch up with all the episodes that we're highlighting tonight. This is the new batch of episodes that David's put together. And the one that we're about to hear is a voiceover artist and a very familiar voice right across TV and radio too, because Pete Smith, David, was a former announcer here on the airways of 3LO. And last night, when we were talking to a gentleman by the name of David Stewart, who was a technical operator back in 1974 at the radio station. So there he was, celebrating 50 years. I think Pete was there because Pete provided, he very kindly sent an email to the show that showed the 50th anniversary, a very, let's say, informal and low-key affair of a cake in the foyer. But just by chance, you happen to have a little bit of Pete's work from TV Land right in our next little grab.
Yeah, because of course he was the Channel 9 Melbourne voiceover person for a really long time. So, when the credits would start rolling on a TV show or a movie, the volume would go down a bit, and then Pete would start talking about what was coming up later tonight or what was coming up the next night. And it's a bit of a lost art now because a lot of TV stations don't show the credits anymore. They just cut straight to the next thing. And we've all got the internet anyway, so you don't really need someone to tell you what's coming up. But yes, I've found his voice on several tapes, and we've got one here from Miami Vice from the credits from 1986.
Want to go fishing? I'd rather go trolling.
Stand by now on 9 for the premiere of a brand new series, The Twilight Zone. Tuesday and Wednesday nights on 9 are loaded with laughs. For an hour from 7:30, it's top comedy with The Cosby Show and Benson. And Wednesday night, we'll really tickle your funny bone with 2 new light-hearted treats, Who's the Boss and Growing Pains. Be sure to bring your smile along Tuesday and Wednesday nights here on 9.
I just love the tremolo, those elongated syllables. A master of the voice, Pete.
Yep. I think he's the only man in media in Australia who pronounces Wednesday with 3 syllables.
I think he is. He is a maestro. I also love... I'm wondering whether he was responsible for the scripts too, because Bring Your Smile Along, it's a lovely little vernacular touch as well.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
So
they probably had some leeway, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what's so beautiful about going through these, because that to me was part of the format for TV, but I've forgotten about it completely. But by revisiting these historic tapes, where history suddenly comes back in sort of rushing colour and sound. So, but for you, I mean, you didn't necessarily grow up in the 80s. I mean, how much of it for you is new territory?
Well, I think that TV, in the 90s was very similar to the 80s. It really changed when it kind of became digital and the internet really disrupted things. But pretty much, I think it was the same. There were only 2 or 3, 4 channels depending on where you lived.
And Pete Smith is very kindly, he did a cameo on the VHS Revue too.
Yeah, well, I had his email because I interviewed him when I did a radio show many years ago, and I thought it's too good an opportunity not to ask him to record something, and he very kindly did.
Don't forget to bring your side-splitting resistant pants for the next hilarious episode of VHS Revue, as David once again delves into the exciting world of long-lost videotapes. Coming soon to an algorithm near you. Stand by now for fun in the kitchen.
Is he one of the greatest sports in Australian media? He seems such a yes and lovely man.
Yeah, he's great. And he did a voiceover thing for 31 Questions as well, and actually went to his house and recorded it. And yeah, lovely man. I don't have a photo with him. That's something I still need to get.
You know what? just by chance, he was standing in front of me at a news agency getting, I think he's getting a Tats ticket. And I had to say, Pete, I've just loved everything he's done. For me, who's always enjoyed TV, always enjoyed radio, and he brought the best to both those media, which is lovely to say, thank you. Plus, I've always enjoyed his work that he did with Martin and Malloy. He was just as much a conspirator on that show, that wonderful radio show with those two comics as well.
Yeah, and he still works with Tony Martin on a podcast called From the Hideout, which is very good value. He tells a lot of stories about his early career, and yeah, it's great stuff.
Big shout out to Pete. Thank you for sending through that footage of the 50th anniversary too. And Pete, I hope you're listening, because a lot of fond memories coming through the texts and even just chatting to you across the airwaves. Let's get to our final little grab, and this I love just the depth that you dive to in this. It really shows you as the scholar, not just a comedian and a writer, David. Where are we going with our last grab?
All right, so this is a bit of analysis of why game shows were better in the 90s, and it's based on a tape of Family Feud and Wheel of Fortune that I found from 1993.
Let's have a listen.
Something you associate with the city.
Tall buildings.
Try again.
Pass.
A machine designed for farm use.
Tractor.
Try again.
A hoe.
Something you might keep an eye on. A machine designed for farm use. You said maybe the hoe for 20 points. The survey said no. I'm sorry. Oh.
So good. And that's the original Family Feud ba-bum sound, still used today by FM radio shows. I reckon that's the best one. It's so rough and jarring. You hear this, and you know you made a mistake. It's better than the fluffy remixed version Channel 10 used after they picked up the show in the 2000s. And obviously an improvement over what they used back in the Channel 9 era. Lyrics! I mean, that could be from any game show. They do compensate for the primitive sound effects with twice as much shag pile carpeting, though. But that's peak Family Feud. It's just a fact.
That's our wrong answer. One of our wrong answer sounds. I love just the depth that you go to. Were you appreciating that as richly as you were watching it for the first time, David?
As in, like, watching it for the first time when I was a kid?
Yeah, as a kid. Well, I mean, did you have that brain thinking, oh, that's a cool sound?
I think so, yeah. Well, it was used a lot by radio shows as, like, a funny sound effect, and McAuliffe Tonight used it. That's actually where I got that sound effect. It's very hard to find a clean copy of that. And I put a little thing out on Facebook in this, like, radio group. So does anyone have this? And 5 different people all sent me the modern one. And I'm like, no, that's subtly different. It's not the same. Yeah.
Was it a theremin? I'm trying to work out what makes that sound. Like, it's a beautiful, artificial sound they've created. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. I don't know if it's natural or if it's a synthesizer thing. Yeah,
it's a work of art. So too is your series. It's called VHS Revue. David M. Green has been my guest, comic writer for Things As Mad As Hell. You can catch him too in the archival footages of 31 Questions from Channel 31 and the show that we're celebrating here, the web series VHS Revue. New episodes have just dropped, so check it out. From Family Feud to Sexist Ads and the great work of Pete Smith, all in the time bubble from 70s, 80s and 90s TV. David, thanks heaps for coming in.
Cheers, David.
We don't have David Clark on the Nightlife. We've got Philip Clark just to break the sequence. It's 29 minutes now to 10. Philip, what are you up to tonight?
You could have dredged up my old game show myself from the early 2000s.
Have you been in a game show?
Oh, yes. I was the host of a game show.
What game show was that? Tell us.
It was, I don't know that it was lamented.
No,
but we did make 180 episodes of it.
Bloody hell. What was the name of it?
Flashback, it was called.
Oh, Flashback. Actually, it's all coming back to me, and I don't mean to be smart about that.
6 p.m.
Yeah, Flashback.
6 p.m. Monday to Thursday.
Now, I'm wondering, David, would you have Flashback somewhere in your archives?
What channel was that on?
ABC TV, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Monday to Thursday.
What years?
2001.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well,
no, I don't remember that. Sorry.
Oh, see,
I might find it.
What do you mean no one remember? What do you mean you don't remember it? I mean, like, this is what I'm faced with.
I'm going to hunt it down now, Philip. Next time I chat to you, I'm going to chat about Flashback. Can't wait to see it.
I don't know about that.
What's coming up tonight?
If you couldn't wait to see it, you were about the only one.